It's kind of a curse, I don't want to lie. Because women are expected to be great organizers, diligent, structured, and if you're like me and you're kind of a slob and you forget to do things and you do a lot of self-questioning, like, wow, am I really such an asshole? You seem to be competent, but you actually socially incompetent. So things like that are very polarizing in the African/Black community. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's episode, we will be speaking about two things: the hard or annoying aspects of living with both autism and ADHD, dissecting why ADHD in women is often missed, and young girls. So, as I said, I have both autism and ADHD. For people who are seeking a diagnosis, psychiatrists and psychologists are the people who can really assist you with that. If you're seeking any medical advice, it's always a good idea to start with your GP and then go on from there. I'm self-diagnosed, okay? And I don't apologize for that, because I remember this one time we were in, I think, second year, and occupational therapy. We were doing a block about pediatrics, a teaching block, and our professor was just telling us about sensory regulation, and we all did like a sensory quiz just to find out our sensory profile. And then my friends were kind of teasing me to say, you have sensory issues and you should see an OT. We brushed it off. I asked my mom, when I was a kid, did I spend time alone? And she's like, no, you had so many friends and you got along with everyone. I had a suspicion, but I never thought, okay, now we should do something. Then I started dating this guy, and he told me he thinks I have autism. Man. But maybe he was onto something. So at some point in my career, I was working with neurodiversity in adults, and I could see that, I have a lot of these traits. And that's when I accepted that, yeah, I'm probably on the autism spectrum. It's only 3 months since I've come to see that I also have ADHD. Both my brothers have ADHD. In them, it is so obvious. Forgetful. You send them to the shop, they come back with whatever they want. They don't listen. They need verbal instructions and written instructions. They get excited about strange things, like playing soccer. Or the other time my brother was here and he saw the monitor I got from work, so that I have 2 screens, and he was so excited. And I was like, okay, it's cool. But yeah, they're just very strange, oddball type of people. My youngest brother went on church camp, and he said he's gonna make 20 friends. And they have these little ways of speaking that just, why would you quantify friendship? But it's very clear in them. So with me, obviously, I was parentified. So when you're parentified, you just don't develop an insight into your own skills and abilities. So when I started working this job in corporate, where you have to file a lot of things, you have to go this place to access this thing, and you have to use this email to do that thing. And that's when I started seeing that I don't remember anything. And concentration is very hard for me outside of a very structured environment. And I really have to think about getting tasks done. I don't naturally fall into a task. So, despite that little speech, these are some of the annoying aspects of having both autism and ADHD. Number 1, forgetting everything and remembering everything. So the autistic memory is very, rich, strong. So if I study something and I have to write a test on it, I'll most likely remember most of the things. But if you say to me, next week Wednesday instead of going to KFC, we're going to go to McDonald's. I will not remember that. I don't even remember people's birthdays. God forgive me. And when it's my birthday, I'm kind enough to remind everyone to say, on the 5th, it's my birthday. That's my public service for the year. I forget everything. Dates, events, errands. I forget everything. This one time I went to work and I felt so proud of myself that I have this big girl job and I'm in an Uber and I'm getting my greens in and I'm going to work sipping a smoothie. And then 2 or 3 kilometers into the journey, I remember that I didn't put the protein powder into the shake. And there really was no reason for that. I just didn't do it. Not on purpose, but I realized that I didn't do this thing. Another thing that is very annoying about autism and ADHD is, how can I put it? Being moody, hangry, irritable, overstimulated. That is my daily bread, guys. The ADHD side wants novelty, spontaneity, discovering new experiences. And then the autism is just like, stay home, don't do anything. We haven't planned for this. So it's like a war in my mind. I don't know how else to explain it. Sometimes, I remember when I was a kid, my parents liked shopping or being out in the shops. They were very like outgoing people. And I just remember being so lethargic and tired. And my mom would always carry a blanket, so like you could just take a nap in the trolley, or at church you could take a nap. So yeah, now that I'm older, if I'm hungry, I'm a monster. If I'm irritable, I'm a monster. I'm picking fights, I'm hypersensitive. I don't want to be here, and I will make that felt. But I'm trying to improve on that. Another thing is, if I'm really sad or really hurt, I just stop speaking. I go mute. My parents told me the story when I was young, maybe 5, 6, 7, somewhere there. My mom went to Norway for work, and apparently that whole week I didn't say a word, which is weird. I feel like my parents should have known. Another thing that's annoying about ADHD and autism is I get oppositional when people tell me what to do, especially when I don't want their advice. I just feel like, why are you commenting on a choice I made? And yeah, it annoys me. I was with my coworker and I'm saying to her, you know what, I'm gonna leave the office at 6. I just have a lot of things to work on. And she's like, oh, okay, why don't you leave at 3 so you can finish up at home? And we were walking in the rain and I'm in heels and I'm in pain and it was just a bad day. And I'm like, please don't tell me what to do. I have made a choice, let it be. And she's like, oh, I know people like you don't want advice. But guess what? I left at 3 that day. So, yeah. Stubborn, but clueless. You know what? I should invite Risana to speak about that. Not wanting to be told what to do, but needing to be told what to do. And you get mad that people are telling you what to do, but you also don't know what to do. And you never go back and say, hey, thanks for the tip. I agree, you're on the next thing now, how to get home. Okay, like I mentioned, difficulty with transitions, which is why I don't really work well from home. If I go to the office, travel back home, it's hard for me to continue what I was doing at the office. So there's been a change in the scenery or the scenario or the setup, and I can't cope with that change. So some people can be like, okay, let me quickly drive back home. When I get home, I'll continue to work or whatever. I can't do that. The other time we were at the pharmacy, me and a friend of mine, and I didn't want to sit down on the waiting bench until I gave him the script. I just felt like, let's finish the one thing before we sit and relax, which is irrational. But I just felt like, one thing at a time, one thing at a time. And if you think about the world we live in now, adults need to be able to juggle multiple things. So yeah, when you really sit down and think about it, it's kind of a curse, I don't want to lie, especially as a woman, because women are expected to be great organizers, diligent, structured. That's what society expects them to be. And if you're like me and you're kind of a slob and you forget to do things, and people are always on your case about you didn't do this or you did that, it can suck. And you're trying to piece together, oh, this was ADHD all the time, or this, you're trying to piece together your childhood memories, your previous experiences and your current experiences to draw out patterns. When I was a kid, my family used to call me lazy, my extended family. And I just didn't know why they cared so much what an 8-year-old gets up to. I just didn't understand that. But yeah, you get called lazy, you like to sleep, hey, oh, you only eat when we do A, B, C, D. And all those judgments that people put on you, you finally realize that, you know what, guys, it's my brain, it's not me. So my parents were never labeled us or criticized us, but outside people would always say stuff like, you're lazy, why don't you ever eat when you come here? And then I developed this really cool trick of telling people I have allergies. And if a kid says I'm allergic to eggs, you're not gonna argue with that. So that was a cool trick. Got me out of a lot of things. And lucky for me, my mom was very overprotective, so I almost never had to do sleepovers. I did sleepovers with my cousins, and those are people who are also neurodiverse, so it was fine. But yeah, difficulty with transitions. Sorry, you see, I forgot what I was saying. That just basically means if I have a 3:00 appointment, my day is screwed. That's a great way to ruin my day. 3:00 appointment. I just hostage. And then what will happen sometimes is I'll be so anxious around 1:45. I'm like, okay, let me take a quick nap, because executive dysfunction. And then when I wake up, it's 3:10, and it's damn. Oh well. Yeah, appointments must be in the morning. Or if I have to do something in the morning, like work, and then go to an appointment, that's fine. But if I have to do nothing all morning, 3:00 appointment, that's gonna mess me up, man. That's a waste of a day. That makes my life hell. Okay, another thing that's really annoying about having both autism and ADHD is that you tend to be sensitive, but also emotionally, yes, cognitively, yes, from a sensory perspective, yes, but also from a physical or physiological perspective as well. If people eat chicken that is slightly off, let's say a group of us have chicken that's slightly off, I will get food poisoning. There is no doubt that I will be the only one that's sick. If there's a little, a little bug going around, I will catch it. I've had TB. From where, I don't even know. I've had COVID. If it's too hot outside, I get headaches. I'm just one of those people. Also, low iron levels. I'll make plans and be like, this weekend we're gonna go to whatever market, and then I wake up on Saturday morning and I'm just fatigued. We once went hiking Devil's Peak in Cape Town with a couple of my varsity friends. Was this before or after the pandemic? I think before. And I forgot to eat because, we wanted to be there at 5 a.m. And 100 meters into the hike, before you even get to those big stones, I was dizzy, nauseous, and I didn't bring any snacks, and it was just a tough time. So luckily someone had a narki, and then I had that. But yeah, things like that, I really have to consider so many things, which is why I'm on birth control, because if my hormones have to regulate themselves, we are not going to be happy. It's going to be a terrible time for everyone involved. Another thing is stress management. I do struggle to manage my stress. So what I usually do is ignore my problems and hope they go away. Or I walk, but it's not easy to kind of program myself into saying, okay, this is a problem that will pass. That sucks. Another thing that sucks about having autism and ADHD, anxiety that is generalized, anxiety that is irrational, anxiety that is rational or warranted. My psychiatrist told me just this week that if you struggle to complete tasks, or you are inattentive, or a little bit forgetful, you are always in a state of anxiety because you're just never sure what you're gonna find. You know how some people know for sure that they saved all their documents. If you have ADHD, you might forget to save the important document. That's just part of it, and you have to build systems that help. Another thing that sucks about having both autism and ADHD at once, you are prone to depression. And a lot of your depression comes from being misunderstood and misunderstanding your own needs. So if you have autism and ADHD, you might struggle with energy levels. And, obviously no one told you that you have these conditions, not that they would know, and then you do something silly like sign up for 2 courses in 1 month, and things like that will throw you off. You cannot do too many things at once, and this is a lesson I've had to learn over and over and over and over and over again. I tend to overcommit, so I have to really step back and say, I don't have a lot of capacity. What can I commit to? And even that is sometimes hard. And I think what really sucks about autism and ADHD co-occurring, an ADHD person is easy to dismiss and say, oh no, he's just like that. He doesn't concentrate, whatever. They have this persona of being jovial. They like to joke. They're very social, very funny, very charming. And that coexisting with autism, which can be a little bit standoffish, strong boundaries, it is a nightmare. People don't know if they hate you or they love you. They don't know if you're dumb or smart. And they ask you questions and you're just like, why is that confusing for you? Yes, I remember your sentence from 3 years ago, the sentence you told me while you were telling me a story, but I don't know I forgot your birthday is tomorrow. It sucks. You do a lot of self-questioning, like, wow, am I really such an asshole? And you just overthinking everything. But you get prone to depression, and this is why we need a psychiatrist and a psychologist and time, 3 or 4 years of dedicated therapy to develop skills against hating your life, literally. Final thing about having both ADHD and autism, people skills. I do not have great people skills. I don't even want to have great people skills because that's a lot of energy. An example, let's say you are a very technical person, very good at, Excel, and you're an accountant. And then they make you manager. Now you need to have soft skills. And the technical skills you don't have to do anymore because the people you're managing do those skills. That's kind of what it feels like, that you seem to be competent, but you actually socially incompetent. I struggle to make new friends. I was asking a friend of mine, do you remember how we became friends? And luckily she also has autism, so neither of us remember. I can be a little bit brutally honest. I remember this one time we were standing outside a liquor shop. And I mean, I'm not paying attention to the facial expressions of the security guard. So I'm with this person and I'm saying, wow, this place is kind of dingy. Do you think they have Chardonnay here? It's giving a Black Label, Tanqueray, you know what I mean? And later that person said, like, yo, the security guard was there, you could have hurt his feelings. And I'm just like, why is he listening to our conversation? This is not a palace. It's a, you know what I mean? And people are very, very weird about that stuff. And I just don't understand why we're being precious with adults. We can relax. Another thing, not understanding hierarchy. So I have a lot of family drama, most people, and people will say to me, no, but you can't say that to your uncle, or you can't say that to your gran. And it's just like, why the hell not? If it's true, what's gonna happen? Nothing. So understanding social hierarchies and empty gestures of respect, and yeah, all that nonsense is so exhausting. And having to tell people that me taking a nap during a kid's birthday party is not because I'm rude. It's just because I don't want to talk to anyone. Not because they've upset me or anything. I just don't have energy to talk to anyone. So things like that are very polarizing in the African/Black community. You have to be cheerful and charming. My mom was like that, my sister's like that. So I always left it up to them, and now people expect you to, talk to them. For example, there's this guy, oh my gosh, he's a friend of the family. And this one time he came to see my grandmother to tell her that when he got robbed last week on his way to work, someone helped him and he's doing okay now. He has reapplied for his ID and whatever, and he's just there to give her an update and maybe ask if she's got a spare phone. And I'm the only one that's home. I'm home with the kids. So now I have to talk to this guy that I don't even know and try and suss out, you said what happened? Oh, okay, no, let me call her and find out how far she is. You call your gran and she doesn't pick up, or something like that. So I often feel relieved when my uncle or my sister or my gran comes, because it's just like, finally, you guys entertain the crazy guy. I'm done. I love animals and I love toddlers. Actually, by animals, I mean puppies, and dogs. But I find it easier to get along with toddlers and animals because it's straightforward. There's no BS. You guys play or you don't play, or you don't go for a walk. There isn't a lot of thinking you have to do. So I enjoy seeing how animals socialize. I enjoy playing with kids. When I was doing my pediatric block, my facilitator said to me that I don't know how to speak to children. And yeah, that's right. Because he's 6. What are you going to tell a 6-year-old to do except the instructions? And she's just like, try to be a little bit more animated. And I was just like, just get on the scooter so we can do the exercises. So I don't really have an affinity for pediatric. I have 2 more stories to tell. This one time I was in Durban with a friend of mine. We went on a vacation, the 4 of us. And back in varsity, this one friend of mine used to make a butter chicken curry. She's from Durban. And she's really good at that. So we get to Mozambique. It's a restaurant. And we order, and then my food comes. And I'm like, wow, friend, this food is so delicious. Yours is almost as good as this one. And she was offended. And I'm just like, but you're not a chef. And it was a whole thing, and people were mad at me. But I'm just thinking, this place has trained people with the highest quality ingredients. This does beat a homemade butter chicken. I just feel like that's objectively true. But people were like, yeah, no, don't phrase it like that. And I was in trouble. I don't know if I said sorry, I probably did. But I mean, even now, I don't see what I did wrong, honestly. You're not a chef. I'm still thinking about it. What was I? Okay, anyway. Final story. It's actually not a story, it's more of a fact. I cannot flirt. I feel like, in my mind, we are all God's children and we are all brothers and sisters in Christ. And if I show a man friendliness, which I've stopped doing, thank you, Lord, it's not because I like you or I think you're hot. And, you know, in the talking stage, which is a horrible, if we can rid the world of talking stages, we would have done a beautiful thing. In the talking stage, it is hard for me because I just want to know if we're dating or not, really. I don't care about the other stuff. Like, are we going to get married or not? And, like, you know, you have to talk and act like you don't like him too much, but you still like him. And, yeah, flirting. And, you know, someone will be like, you're really A, B, C, D. And, you know, I can only think of, oh, thanks, that's a kind thing to say. Like, I don't know how to flirt. I just feel like we're adults. We should be able to say what we want. And when people flirt with me, it actually annoys me because I'm here with a valid question, doctor, or whoever that person is, and they're flirting with me. So, can't flirt. I accidentally hurt people's feelings. What else? I forget everything. I just did now, even though I spent so much time talking about it. I can be a little bit moody, hangry, sensitive, sickly, argumentative, oppositional. I hate a 3:00 appointment. I suffer from anxiety and depression, and I don't have great people skills. So I wonder if I apologized to this person about the curry, but I think I did. But yeah, that's me. I'm trying to remember if we, yeah, I don't remember, but we're still friends. That's what matters. So that's me.
That is so weird.
I don't, and everyone was looking at me like I'm a monster, and I'm just like, I was paying you a compliment.
I don't think I would get upset.
I get on a little autism. Bye guys, see you in the next episode. Finally.
Didn't say it properly. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks.
Let me know your thing.
Please let me know in the comments what you find really annoying with having ADHD or autism or both, if you're like me, or any other type of neurodiversity or neurodiverseness. Let me know your tricks. Tell me your stories. Who's mad at you for no good reason? I want to know that. And yeah, see you in the next episode.